Hey everybody, it's the Chronic Queen. I'm back. So, it's kind of like part 20, but I'm gonna stop with the numbers now and just do story time by condition because it's gonna start to overlap at this point, and I just don't think I'm gonna be able to, keep it on track. So we're gonna go condition by condition. Some of these years overlap. I'll try my best to update you as much as I can. Um, so going forward from the pacemaker being installed, I instantly noticed improvement in how I felt. However, I still felt off in many ways. And so for like the first 2.5, 3 months, I was very, very scared to say anything about how I was feeling because I had barely gotten the pacemaker. Mind you, just to recap a little bit going backwards, I had, just a second, I had, some, um, basically some instances where I felt like I was not feeling well. Um, and as far as the heart thing goes, I noticed that I almost fainted um, at one point. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, there's clearly still something going on. But due to my trauma, I was just too scared to say anything. If once I get down the line and start to tell you some of the things that I went through, you'll understand why I am the way that I am. But as far as this pacemaker goes, I had two monitors previous to the pacemaker going in. The first one, um, they told me to push the button whenever I felt unwell, and so that's what I did. And for those, I think it was like 2 weeks. Don't get me started. It may have been 2 weeks, a week or something. It was at least a week. I pushed the button every time I felt something. I took it back. The cardiologist deemed it as insignificant. What the things that it did bring back. Now, mind you, at this point, I wasn't very well versed in medical records and medical terms and reading tests and viewing images and things like that. Not like I am now. Now you could pop something down in front of me and I could tell you what's wrong with you. Like, I'm literally now like a doctor with no license right now. If you like, I know a lot now, more than I did then. And it's a blessing that I have learned as much as I have because I have saved my life so many times. Um, so going back to that, um, I finally spoke up in the doctor's office one day at a pacemaker check, and I said, hey, so this has been going on. I almost fainted one time when I got up. I'm still not feeling very well. And so the tech that was checking out my pacemaker goes, well, people usually feel better after they get the pacemaker put in. Most people feel better. And so I said, oh, well, I'm not most people. Can you have the doctor come in and take a look? So the doctor came in and took a look. And in my memory, the conversation was much longer than that between her and I. But because I don't remember clearly, I'm not going to speak on it because, well, we'll just leave it at that. At some point, she's going to pay for that. But, so the doctor came in and, he asked me what was going on, what had happened the particular day I'm speaking of. And I just told him, I had been down with a bug. I had been in bed for 2 days, basically resting and only going to the bathroom. I was getting food brought to me by my husband and my kids. I just was down with a bug and I just was trying to rest. And when I finally did get up to go shower, I felt like I was going to faint. And so he said, okay, let's check it out. So he went in, he got access to pacemaker, and he realized that the activity setting hadn't been adjusted to me because, mind you, my two problems were atrioventricular block and sick sinus syndrome. So my heart was beating really slow at night when I laid down to go to sleep, and then at the same time, it was skipping beats as well. And so with those two conditions, it made sense that I was dizzy, but with the pacemaker, they expected me to feel better. However, my heart is not functioning fully on its own and it's beating too slow. So when I do have activity, it's hard for me to catch up with it because my heart is working so hard. And so once he set the activity setting to adjust to my heart rate and what the pacemaker was doing for me, we took a couple of rounds around the back office, he and I felt better. I wasn't busting into a sweat. I wasn't tired from just walking. And so that's it. Problem solved. Pacemaker problem out of the window until recently. That's 2018 that all this happened. And so now we're in 2025. So the last year and a half, 2 years is where we have another issue come up. But so I'm going to get off of the pacemaker thing and go into the next condition in the next video. But I will close this video by saying that I have no idea how to use my new iPad, and I don't like the way this camera is working, but I'm going to figure it out, and we're going to get some good videos, hopefully. But this is where the real racial discrimination and all of this stuff starts to happen, and I'm starting to become more aware of it. So in the next video, we'll go into the next big condition and the hell I went through trying to get that resolved. But thank you for listening. Follow, like, share, comment, do all those good things. Let's get it moving, because Chronic Queen Advocacy is like a month away from being launched. So we'll see. Let's get it.